Senor Ortiz, we are live. Are you ready to kick this thing off, brother?
Man, let's do this, man.
Let's do it. Hey, what to do, KTTV? This is KT, and I'm coming at you live with another episode of the Administrators Podcast. I am here with my co-host, Mr.
JoJo, baby.
Hey. Look, bro, that was not even too bad, bro. You did not even take a long time to respond. I think it's gonna be a good night tonight. That boy's on point over there, man. Say, man, before we even kick this thing off, because it is crazy in these streets, man. How you doing tonight, brother?
Man, I tell you what, man, we're that schoolhouse ain't no joke this year, man.
Look, man. I'm talking about, say, bruh.
Woo!
How long it's been? 2 months?
Yeah.
What does it feel
like? Like I feel like it's May right now,
man. Hey, man, that's what I'm saying, man. We got a long time, bro. We got bro. Is this what Harry Wong talked about in the book, man? It feels like we just keep getting first days of school, man. I mean, like, man.
It's what's so draining is the fact that there's so many new people teaching and in critical, especially at my school, in critical positions, man. Like, you've got your front office, your attendance, registrar, ESL aides, IoT turnovers new, along with new teachers. And then, of course, you have your associate teachers who aren't certified. It's just been draining dealing with the newness of everything, and
yeah, man.
And then, the kids, sometimes I feel like, any kid, you could throw any of that at us. We can deal with it, adapt to it, but when you accompany, so many of them so young, and then on top of that, and teachers who really aren't equipped right now to deal with the behavior, it's just, it's constant every day, just, compounds itself, man.
Yeah, man. Hey, look, just like interest. I agree with that, man. Yeah, man, because you put that on top of deadlines, you put that on top of meetings, you put that on top of all campus meetings. Man, it's just a lot going on this year, man, and so with so much being tied to finances, man, I think we'll always be behind the curve, man. It doesn't feel like you can get ahead because enrollment is down. So of course that messes with the money. You got elections. You got so many proposals. Yeah, it's a lot, man. You can just keep going with that list. But the thing is, it's only October. And so I understand people feel tired and you feel a little slow. But if you feel like this right now, you might not make it to December.
Yeah.
Cause I think looking at things, man, it got to be like a little quick mind shift. Yeah, man. And I think on those days like this week, I just had to stop that because on days like this week, when we got this Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, this is the time, man, where we really have to sit up, take care of ourselves, and do something that helps us really enjoy what this thing is about. We get back to the business on Monday, students on Tuesday, but for these 3 days, man, I'm taking a slingshot to Galveston, man. What you got?
Well, I am going to use one day to do what I need to do, and that's catch up. So
yeah,
I think a lot of this stress, anxiety that, you may feel, even though it's days off, I feel like, instead of waiting till you come back, I think this is a great opportunity for at least only one day though. And I would do it early, like do it Wednesday. Take the time to really prioritize your needs at work, catch up. That way you can at least enjoy yourself, for the next 4 days after that, 3 days, to where you're not thinking about what you need to do when you come back. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to do what I can tomorrow at work, because you really can't observe nobody do any of that. So, try to do what I can to get caught up tomorrow into Wednesday. Do a little trading the next 3 days after that.
Woo!
Friday, and then but like you said, man, gotta take this time to just breathe, relax. I am going out of town to go see my mom, so that's on the agenda.
Very important, man. Got to take care of the family, man. Man, for me, yeah, I think that'll be it, man. I'll pretty much run out of town, kind of enjoy myself, figure out some stuff. We got the nonprofit set up, the Bright Futures Initiative. So what we'll be doing, I got a meeting tomorrow with the board, and so we'll kind of look at our community needs assessment, where we'll be going to apartment complexes, reaching out, kind of setting up those reading programs and all those things that we want to do inside of those complexes. And pushing out the fundraising, man, as we get ready to start the money for this mobile literacy bus, right? So right now my goal is to raise $250K. And so we will see how this goes. But I got a good plan, got some good people. And so I think it's just more putting into action. So I'll get a little deeper into that. But yeah, man, that'll be pretty much it for me on the same. Just got to find that time. I was going to fly out to Vegas, but I said, I'll just chill here. Yeah, because one thing that I have not had in mind or on my eyesight, because we back to work, is penny stocks. Those penny stocks, you got to be in, you got to be out. But starting Wednesday, I will be buying them 1,000 at a time.
That's
and let's see what we can do, because if that 1,000 go $1, I'm up. So let's see what happens, man. But that'll be it, man. So excited for tonight, everybody that's tuned in. Thank y'all for the ride. We got a good show for you tonight. It's election time, so we'll talk a little bit about how that relates to the stock markets. I looked up a little, I guess, a diagram that kind of showed what it looked like, so we may take a peek at that. Biggest thing we'll talk about is in the news, for example, hurricane season, second hurricane to hit Florida. Generac shares reached an all-time high today. So we'll go take a look at Generac and see, because we know when things are influenced by the world around us, when those circumstances change, people's minds may change about their stock. So if we hit all-time highs, I think we could have a little resistance ahead. So this could be a time to jump in and get some money. So y'all pay attention to that. Stay tuned for that. Of course, we got our heat check, where we'll kind of look at the S&P 500 map. VIX went through the roof today. So we'll also take a look at that. And of course, Ortiz has a few picks for us. And y'all know, if y'all know, Ortiz gonna get you right, man. So make sure you stay tuned. I guess, man, what we'll do, if you don't have anything else, let's take a quick break. And let's get into some news. Matter of fact, we won't even have to take a break, man. Let's go straight into the news tonight, man. Let's go. Tonight's news, as I talked about a second ago, we'll look at shares of the generator maker Generac soar. Insurance stocks fall as Hurricane Milton intensifies. So if you know, it was a hurricane that was sitting out in the Gulf, like right next to the Texas coast. Man, how long was this sitting out there, man? It had to be like a week or so.
I think so, but it didn't really form until like a few days ago.
Yeah. And then when it formed, hey, we was worried. We said, is this about to come to Texas? What's about to happen? But it did not. What it did was took a beeline to the right side, and now it is heading for Florida. I thought it was coming up, though. I'm telling you, I thought it was going to go straight up. But heading to Florida, gaining steam. And so, as they say, Hurricane Milton has rapidly strengthened into a Category 5 storm. And so Florida is right now just still getting over the devastation from Helene. And so right now, this could be bad. Tampa Bay could face a storm surge between 8 feet and 12 feet, according to the forecasters. And so as we look at what was going on with the stock, the shares just today surged more than 8%. as Milton began to rapidly turn into a category 5. And so they hit an intraday high of $175.69, which is up more than 9% over Friday's close. And so you just think about, once again, not necessarily looking at the money, looking at the percentage. So whatever you put in today, you would have 10% grew your money. And we know you can put your money in the bank for a year and you won't get 10%. Heck, you might not even get 1%. And so to look at 10% in one day, that is very big. And so this is why we look at the stock market each week. The power generation company also hit a new 52-week high. And so they closed at 173.82, which was about up 8.5%. And so, like I said, it is getting crazy. On the flip side of that, insurance stocks that have weather catastrophe exposure have failed today because of the insured losses that are tied to Hurricane Milton. So you think about your Allstate, your Travelers, and your Chubb. Let's go, Chubb. They all saw shares fall more than 4%, while Progressive, AIG all declined more than 3%. So forecasters have warned for months of an extremely active hurricane season. This is due to warm sea surface temperatures, global warming, baby, that serves as a fuel source for hurricanes, according to Colorado State University Tropical Weather and Climate. And this was from CNBC today. Man, before we look at this chart for Generac, man, what you thinking?
Well, I mean, I just think that, like we've been saying, you gotta know what's happening in the world around you. You gotta, and as we get into it, we'll talk, more about other stuff in the world. But I just think that, this is something that, if you have time to actually get in there and look at news and look at different stocks, and you've done your research on certain things, you just wait and you just know, what's going on out there with the, different situations in the world around us.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And so today in the let's go ahead and look. Let's take a look at this chart where we have this is Generac, and the first thing I see is that a bull flag?
I sure do look at in.
Are we flagging right now?
Uh-oh.
I mean, man. So let's go and let's look at let's kind of look at this real quick. Bull flag pattern here. All right, so I'm trying to see if we can find one good bear flag, bull flag pattern to share with everybody here. All right, let's see here. We can go over here and look right here. So let's share this tab. All right, so when we think about a bull flag pattern, technical analysis that signals a potential resumption of an existing bullish trend. And so if you see right here, we're going up, and then we go out to a little bit to the side, and then we go. The only thing that question me is kind of most of the bull flags are not necessarily up as it is, but the reason why I'm looking at this one to stay like it is because it also rode the VWAP outer band. And so that's where we were going. But as you can tell, our flag was here, and then we got ready to head on up. So that's one of the first things I see. This is the 1 hour chart. Big green candle right here. This is nothing but bulls have made their way. And then we traded a little sideways. We got started to go up here, but then as you could tell, we did get rejected off this line. And so this was our 175 that we hit today. But as we can see, all-time highs. There's really nothing to look at to say go and we want to look at for this chart. But when we go all-time high, unless we see some continuation for tomorrow, then we could be coming back down to this line, right? So that's just one thing to look at. Let's go back out to our daily chart. So we got a daily. So what happened? Boom, we got here. We rejected down. We rolled up. Oh, look, man, I like to make my charts in real time, baby. So charting again. What we got? We got another one right. What we got right here? I'll take it right here. Let's see here. Give or take a few dollars. Bam.
Mm-hmm.
So this is what's happening. All right, y'all. So remember what's happened. This is our 200 EMA. This is the be all end all line right here. If you break this for me, when you trading, if we break this, there's no question that we going down, right? But look what happened. Each time we bounced off of, well, this one we bounced off the 60. But if we come back over here, we bounced off of the 200, get back up, hit EMA, but we're steady finding that support. We get back up here, bam, we come up, we hit nothing happening right here. We sell back off. We come back, hit our 200. People did not sell. This has been support. Roll back up. Now we came back down, hit our 200 again. And so now we are on our way back up. But as elementary people, we teach them recognize patterns. So what we know is this thing has been ranging. And is this the breakout? I don't know. We will find out because the hurricane coming, man.
Mm-hmm.
Hurricane is coming. Anything you see in this chart?
Well, I think if you go out to like a couple days, a few days, you still see the upward, and then you see the flagging at the end. When you start to form that flagpole. So I think you still can see that it's starting to form now. Because of the rise today, you have to anticipate a little bit of a sell tomorrow. A little bit, to where it trades sideways again before we see the continuation of the flag at the end. So
yeah. And so if you look, like what we do, whenever you trade people, I go 1 month. I'm gonna look at the trend. Let's see what's happening at the 1 month. We up. Oh, I'm sorry, that's the week. I'm sorry, I apologize. This is our 1 month. So 1 month shows up. Our weekly shows up. Our daily shows up. I'm sorry, y'all. Well, 4 hour. Everything right now tells me the trend is heading up. The question is what happens tomorrow, because as you can tell on these smaller time frames, as we get ready to look and see what's happening in the now, we came back down to our 20. We've hit that 20 a few times and we didn't break. So interested to see what happens tomorrow. We got our 20, we got our VWAP line, and we also have our 60 EMA right here. So I'm thinking by the time we get to, because let's go back and look and see how we moved. Oh my God, turned the whole thing up. Let's see how we moved today. So only one touch came back down the VWAP. Oh, I'm sorry, two, because we'll count that VWAP. It was a little bit away. I guarantee it was all pressure from here. So if we just go in and we put a blue line to chart this, then we still come back right here. So we can see a lot has danced on this line. We got here a touch, we got another touch here, and we got another touch here. So that is a popular place, but it's also a place where, is that supply or demand right there, man? Is that a demand zone?
Hey, that's supply, man.
Oh, okay, my bad, brother. Hey, look, that's why man. Just trying to double check, man. Be clear, man. I don't want to tell the people nothing, man. Let's talk about it. All right, so if you look, remember what we said at the beginning of this thing. One way that we look at stocks is think about what's going on in the world around us. And so if you think about just another example of that before we move on, a lot has been going on in the Middle East. We got Exxon 125, right? We was looking at Exxon a few weeks ago. We can go back and look at the monthly chart.
Wow.
Okay, let's look at this monthly chart.
Look at that.
Let me see here. Right here, June. We low. Right here, 105. 108, 110, 108. But now we 126. And that is because of what's going on in the Middle East. Look at Slumberjay. right? So Slumberjay, they always had some things going on. We had the wedge right here, and then what happened? The thing popped out that wedge, and we greeny. And so that's what we kind of look at when we're looking at these buys. And this is the one I was looking at when I got in. Once I seen it come outside of these lines right here, bam. And then once we jumped above that 200, I say, yeah, it was over. So I sold. Once we got here, jumped back in. Once we got back on top of this, and we closed above. So all I'm saying to say that is look at the world around you, and then you can see what some stocks are going to do. Because we know it has been crazy out in these streets. Another one that I looked at that was very much lower before everything started happening overseas was Oxy. So you go back and look at let's see, where's Oxy at? Probably at its lowest. Right here, we $50 and 37 cents in September 24th. And here we are October 7th, and we're at $55.60, right? And so we know as things keep going, where tensions are rising in the Middle East, we got oil in the harm's way, could be striking nuclear plants, all this going on, oil has been continuing to rise. And so that brings us back to Generac. It's no surprise to see that this is happening. But once again, when things move with situationals, after the situation is over, what will happen? What goes up must come down. And so, not giving financial advice, but I'm just saying keep your eye on Generac. Because if we look right here, once again, we got a little something and it tapped already on the 20 EMA. So they got to make a decision here. I'm watching it to see what are we going to do, because if it breaks this line and it breaks this line, we heading back down, right? So just pay attention. Don't anticipate it. Don't front run it. Watch it and then get your confirmation and react to it, man. Anything else before we close out this news section?
Just remember that if you are playing the short game, take your profits and get out.
Oh, and set that stop loss, people. Set your stop loss. I lost a lot of money because man, I'm taking, man, with Robinhood, you do your stop loss, but if you don't do it good until it's gonna end that day, and the next day you're not gonna remember that you did not set a stop loss. And then you're gonna be shorter than a midget on the knee. My God. All right, y'all. That will do it for our news section. Once again, we looked at Generac today. Hurricane, God bless Florida. I think Milton is on his way, category 5. And so that is why generator companies had a big push. Insurance companies went down. But once again, when things are, I guess you could say, when things are situational, once those situations change, we always got to look to see what happens next. Will it keep going up, or will that company start heading down? Because we know that we are coming to the end of hurricane season. When is the end? Got to be coming soon, right?
November, I think.
Yeah, I think so. So we got maybe one more month. So let's try to make it through this thing, man. Pray for us. All right, that will do it for the news. Next up, we will do heat check. Let's go heat check. Or what you want to go next? Or you want to do the heat check?
Oh, heat check, baby, heat check.
Let's go heat check. All right, y'all. We will be right back for the heat check.
You see the drippy, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the giddy up. Secure the bag, yeah, I get the bus. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. You see the drippy, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the
All right, welcome back to the Administrators Podcast. This is KT and my co-host
JoJo, baby.
Man, look, we are talking about elections. We're talking about rate cuts. We're talking about inflation. We just got to be talking about news. Hurricane Milton is heading to Florida. Looked at Generac stock, and of course, all-time highs today. Because people need generators. People is going to need this power. And Florida is really getting hammered, man. Florida's a good state until this time of the year. My God. So now next up, let's take a check and look at our heat map. Let's go. All right, y'all. As we take a look, whoa, that is not the heat map. Bam. This is the heat map, and oh my God. Man, all I'm seeing is red.
Wine, red wine.
Man, and so if we look, let's see here. Remember, just having a chance to look at all these. Oh my God, this is terrible, bro. Look at the Magnificent Seven. Well, except for Nvidia. So Apple down, Google down, Meta down. Meta has been on a tear. Amazon down, Tesla, Walmart, Costco, Target, Microsoft. I think Microsoft is, oh my God. Bro, Microsoft is time, bro. I just want to stop the press for, wait a minute, where's my, stop the press. I was looking at Microsoft and I said I was picking up shares at 410, or I'm gonna pick up a Leap at 410, start averaging down if I have to. Look at what price we are at for Microsoft. We're gonna look at that chart today, y'all. We looking at that chart. But look, Magnificent Seven's down, our conductors are down, except for Nvidia. And then you know what? For this one, this special day, I'm just gonna share a little bit of this. I think Nvidia has earned the Tesla chime. Dude, 2.24% today. And so what happened was, if you were following this morning, we started out maybe about 124, went up to about 128, 128. Then about 9:30 came, we had a big sell-off. And then we climbed our way back up to 130.64. I want to say being our top price today. Wow. Any news that came out with Nvidia? Any reason it ran like this today?
Well, it's one of my picks for today, and I'll go into what happened over the past week.
So sorry. Slow down, T. Yeah. I do apologize for stepping over the toes, Mr. Ortiz. We will get back to that. All right, but the biggest piece is majority of the stocks in the S&P are in a down cycle right now. If you can see the red, you see the redder it is, the further that it went down. It is confirming that it's not looking too good. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. We got CPI data coming out this week. We got I gotta do it again. We got the Tesla announcement this week. 10-10. They dropping the robo taxes. Woo, I'm down 600 in the Tesla call that expired Friday. So I'm hoping this is gonna be some good news. If not, I'll better charge it to the game. Set your stop loss, people. I will say that. Netflix. I was checking out Netflix today. We dropped down about 705, jumped back up to 712, and this is 701 where we ended the day today. So they do have earnings coming up soon. So just double check and check it out just to see what's happening here. Man, look at healthcare. We come over here. Who we got? Lilly. Lilly did a good thing, but I remember Lilly like last week was 930, 940. So they still got a ways to go. Pfizer, they got a little information, a little news today, but overall, the market is rough out here, people. I mean, man, anything on this, Jose?
Well, I think if you go over to the industrials, I think you see that we got some green in RTX, Boeing, and then your Lockheed Martin. Remember, there's a war. Well, something happened over the course of the week in which some shots were fired over, in Israel. So if you think about RTX, not too long ago, we were looking at a $95 stock. So
95.
And it's 125 now. Then the other thing, like KT said earlier, that oil the energy sector because of what the same thing that's driving those war type producers or makers of equipment. Exxon, Chevron, all those are also up. If you know or if you followed a week ago when we get into this charting, we'll talk about your semiconductor, NVIDIA. But if you look at, like KT said, all that red out there, if you recall back when September, when we were red, we bounced a little bit second week of September through, October a little bit more so than expected. And so now, we are looking, when he goes into the fear and greed, you'll notice that this could be healthy as far as what you are seeing in the red, because around this time, around November, is when we typically see a growth in the market.
Mhm.
We've been saying with the election coming, we don't know what that might look like this year, but we are definitely getting to the point where we want to see some red. If we have stuff that we got through the end of year, and so
Yeah.
like you see here, 70 for the greed. We were 73, or 73 last week. So just think about that. And I'll take it away, KT.
Man, well, for this one, like I say every week, let's look at this and put it into money terms when we look at our fear and greed. So we got start to build out your positions, do a little nibble right here for the extreme fear. Right here, you want to start buying a little bit more. Here, kind of hold tight. Let's see what happens, because right over here is where we getting rich. Right, this is where we buying up things and we are in preparation. Extreme fear and fear. When others are fearful, be greedy. When others are greedy, be fearful. Here's the motto. Right here, we'll just hold. We kind of waiting to see, because we could drop back down or we could run up the bag. And so right here, you got a little bit to do a little averaging right here. But by now over here, you should be looking at when is your exit. Because if you were buying over here, like we always say, by the time we get to here, baby, we up. This is where we get rich at. We sell and we put this money in our pockets over on this side. So right now we are at greed. 1 week ago, we had greed. 1 month ago, we were at fear. So we were over here. And what I said, this is when we were buying right here. We don't buy over here, because you're going to buy over here, and 1 month from now, you could be back over here, right? So don't be a bag holder, because almost you chasing right here. Unless you buying common shares with a good stop loss, you chasing. Or if you day trade, you know you can get in, because it's going to drop down, but people want it, so it's going to go back up, just like NVIDIA today. Had a nice little drop, but it right back up to 130 today. So right now, people are scared. Let's look at the price. As we can look at the map, we just teetering. So we'll come back down on this line. It's our 125-day moving average. We touching. But look at the pattern. So we come here, we bounce, bouncing, we come back down. This is like April. Here we go. We taking it back up. Bam. We come back down August. We here. Bam. Here we go again, September 6th. And so we are on our climb. But as you can tell right now, we're heading back down. So let's see what is going to happen. All right. Got a lot of problems with the junk bonds. It's crazy out here, man. Well, what you think about these numbers, man?
Well, I think it's as you get into the extreme greed, you really hope that you can sell, make your money. What I'm looking at right now is what I'm trying to decide is I have a lot of contracts that expire in January. And so I kind of realistically, honestly, I want it to go down till we get to the fear. That way that I can gauge it more or less come November. If we continue to get to the greed and the extreme greed, and we continue to go through that before November, I'm going to really, like you said, I'm going to really start to consider selling my positions. I didn't want to do it that soon, just because I've seen the market trend, go up in November and December. So this could be a good setup, y'all, to where the market is going to react negatively to the election race. So
Yeah.
gauge that. If we continue to go into the extreme greed, know that there could be a bloodbath come November. And so
Yeah.
if you are holding on to anything that expires in January that has made you money, I would consider taking those profits. Remember, if the market does dip really bad come November, you can always buy new positions, and
Yep. Yep.
even positions that expire in January or they expire in March. So,
Yeah.
it's something to look at as we continue to go to the extreme greed. Got a couple of stocks that I'm gonna show you in a minute that are really the opposite right now of that greed. Well, one not really, but in the other one that I've been watching, and if you've been listening, you know what I'm talking about. So again, like we said before, you don't be afraid to play the same stocks, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah. And I will just say this, as Jose talks about those positions, and if you're up, pigs get slaughtered.
Get slaughtered.
Bears eat, bulls can eat, but pigs get slaughtered. So if you're up on those positions, don't be greedy, people. See profit, take your profit. Take your profit, right? Because you don't want a green position to go red. That means you left money on the table, and probably you was trying to make $50 to $100 more, just trying to squeeze all the juice out that night. Take your profit and get out of there, people. All else fails, set you a stop loss, and maybe you'll lose $50 more off because you want to wait, and it could go. But sometimes you don't even got to lose that $50. I had NVIDIA calls. I had some NVIDIA calls that I bought. I bought them things almost, it had to be like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. Paid $2,400 for all of the calls. I end up losing about $1,500 of those calls. All I did was bought some more because I knew what type of company I was dealing with, right? So I was comfortable in saying, I know this is going to run. End up taking it from $700 some down to $400 as my average. Today, it hit and it went up to that 130. That was like hundreds of dollars, like right there, right? Almost $1,000. But it was because of patience. It was because I knew what time I had on that stock because it was to expire, but also I knew what type of company. But as soon as that thing came, I didn't try to get greedy. I didn't say I'm going to push for some more. I was thankful with the few hundred that I made, and I jumped out the game. I said, hey, that's why I love it. It's the game. Hold up, man. All right, man. So what we'll do is I want to get to Jose. So we'll take a quick look. Man, I don't even think I got the VIX pulled up, man. I think I just had the fear and greed for today. Let me double check here. Because I did thought I had that VIX pulled up, but I think I changed it looking at the bear patterns. But what we'll do, let's go take a quick look at the VIX, and then we'll keep on rolling. So for the VIX, remember what we said, this is the volatility index. How cautious and afraid are people who are buying stocks and spending money? And that cautiousness and afraidness leads to uncertainty, which is our volatility, which goes up and down. As you can look, and for those people watching, I want you to be able to correlate this to that fear and greed index, right? So I guarantee you over here, we were in a fear area, right? Nobody's too much scared. Everybody's already sold off. So now we just kind of waiting, right? So then it kind of peak a little bit. We say, hey, what's happening? Oh, never mind. And so we come back down. And so right here, everything, November 23rd, everything was cool. November 26th, November 30th, started popping. October, Shocktober has popped in. And what's happening? Volatility is starting to reach. So what's going on? We got wars, right? We got strikes. We got, man, what else we got? We got elections. We got hurricanes, everything. So people are like, look, man, I don't really know what I'm going to do with my money. You can see what's happening with the fear and greed index. People are still buying, but as this rises, then you got to start looking, because what did I say? When we get over to about here, people are about to start selling, right? And so that's what's telling me, hold on, let me come back over here. So that is what's telling me on this VIX that people are about to start selling, because people are starting to be afraid of where their money is going. And once this happens, we may get a little bit more to push us into extreme greed, and then look for us to get back down here around 15, especially after election time. Because what we're going to do is we're going to get, after the election, we're going to get back down here, which means we may jump back over into maybe fear, and then we're going to ride that thing right back on up to greed as we get into the new year. Then we'll have a sell off for tax loss harvesting, and then we're going to start that year back off, hopefully on the best bull run of our lives. All right, man. I think that'll do it. Let's take a quick break. And then we come back. We will be trading with Ortiz. All right, y'all. Welcome back to the Administrators Podcast. Just finished up the heat check, fear and greed. Still got the VIX on the screen. Look at that arrow, y'all. We're heading up, right? So remember what we said, that's volatility. How afraid are people of spending that money these days in these streets? All right. So now, as we get ready, we have the man of the hour, and he's going to be the man of the hour because we got about 20 minutes left. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to jump in this thing. So we're going to ride with him this time, y'all. Without further ado, trading with Ortiz. Let's go.
I love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when.
Hold up, man. That get too turned up, man. All right, man. So trading with Ortiz, what you got for us today,
bro? All right, man. It's today. Let me get this shared screen going over here, and here we go. Can y'all see that?
Yes, sir.
All right. So we got NVIDIA here, y'all. And let me just say, I want to point out a couple of things. Number one, look at this RSI 78 intraday from yesterday, today, dipped down. We're about 62 right now. But before I go any further, I got to say, last week, I pointed all this out to where we were dropping. And I said, we're going to keep going. We're going to keep going. Well, we kept going. Then, if you bought some around here, the little patience, I said, just wait. I want to say it was about 115. And I said, So I added to my March calls. I took some January calls. And if you look, and if you got, let's say you got in right here, 117 to 130. That's a $13 increase in 1 week's time. If you got in here, fantastic, because this was our double bottom. And I called the 115-ish area. So right around 116, if you got in at 116 to 130, $14 increase. So if you pay attention and you notice all this was downtrending right in here, a week's worth, and I told you about this double bottom that we were going to hit with this number. You've got to be able to think about that and then ride it out. And then I know some people would sell right here, which is smart. You got a $7, $6 increase. But if you kept it, and you rided it out to here, great job. I ended up selling my January calls, and I sold one of my March calls. So, but I have a lot of March calls. So yes, I kept the majority of them, but you can't run away from an $80 entry to a $300 sell. I mean, you can't let that go. So,
yes, sir.
So that's why, I'm showing the NVIDIA. And like Nate, KT said earlier, we did go down today. And so we are expecting these two to cross. to the downside again. So I'm looking for 125.84, and then I'm probably looking for a 120 if we continue to go down. So that 125-ish, 26, it's going to be what I look at first to see if I want to get back in. And if we continue to go back down, then we are playing the market the way it's playing right now, because NVIDIA rode that wave of everybody this week doing that greed. And so, hey, it might be time, take your profits if you had any and wait it out to see if it comes back down to a level that you want to get in. But here's my bread and butter that I've been talking about. And I mentioned this and I said that Apple, I was looking to go down and I wanted to see if it could hit 220, 215 areas. You can see right up in here. Still got some way to go to the 215, but that's what I wanted to see if Apple could do that, because I wanted to see if I could buy some more for those calls that I had for June. My January calls for 250 are still up, but if you notice, the market has been up, and Apple really wasn't that strong with the market being up. So now, if the market continues to go down, I anticipate that Apple will as well. And I am definitely looking at these numbers right here. We got a 41 RSI. Remember, 30 is oversold. So we're getting close to that 30. So I do think that we could ride this down to at least 217, 215. And then we're going to have our MACD convergences cross. Now, the trick is with 250 calls for January, and I have a lot of them, so I can afford to sell if I need to on any kind of up move, But do you continue to let it ride down to 215, and wait and get this up, and then will that buying pressure come in with enough time to get me through January? Now, it really doesn't matter if you go green. So if you add more around the 215 area, okay, and you ride those out till January, because it looks like we could bounce, as soon as you go green, take your profits. Take your profits. Take your profits. Take your profits, because as you can see, we hit close to 240, back in the summer before August. And so we've been riding that 230-ish area, 30-ish area. And so by January, can it get all the way to 250? Maybe not. But if you're up right now, and if you can afford to scale out, and then wait to see if you want to hold. Now, I wouldn't, if you are green right now and you decide to sell your 250 calls, I would not get back into another 250 call, simply because you've made your money and you don't want to have any wash sales closing out the year. And so you don't want it to go down, and then now you get back into the same call, not knowing if you're going to rebound and make money off of that. So I would open a different position. If you make your money and the 250s go down enough, then maybe you go with a 240, 245 call. If those 250s go up, do well for you, and you get out and you scale out, go into a 260. But definitely something that you can start anew with, and hopefully catch this Apple to at least 240, 245, maybe even 250 by January. So that is what I'm, anticipating. That's what I'm thinking about. If you are holding any NVIDIA calls, my NVIDIA calls for June are for 200. That's why I scaled out of one today. But, I'm holding the rest of them hopefully through January. We'll see what happens in January. But definitely, I'm looking forward to that June for a lot of my calls: Apple, SPY, Nvidia, J.P. Morgan Chase.
Woo!
Got those June calls. So if you're up right now and you're anticipating January, start to think about whatever profits you can take. Because if we do happen to have a bloody November, and you made money on those January calls and you didn't sell them, it's going to be hard to recover because that implied volatility is going to kill you depending on how fast the market goes down. Election time. And so
most definitely.
That definitely, Apple definitely is always on my radar, but I wanted to use that today because I wanted you to see the significance of the RSI and the MACD based on just what the market is trending at and Apple. And I had to show you NVIDIA because if you were listening last week, you got some. If you weren't, I'm sorry. And so, just wanted to show that it can happen, y'all. It can happen.
It can happen.
When you look at
say smooth as crown.
Yeah, and by the way, too, with NVIDIA, they had a little rumor talk about the U.S. picking a spot to produce chips here in America and not having to rely so much on producing all of them overseas. So that was good for NVIDIA, AMD, all of them. No wonder. So,
yeah. Woo! Man, that AMD, my God. So. All right. Man, that would do it for Trading with Ortiz. Great insight on that. Kind of gave us a little bit of insight into the NVIDIA calls. Apple, for me, I say NVIDIA is the new Apple. And so we just wait to see how this thing's about to head up. And so what we'll do, take a quick break. And then we will come back and let's look at this Microsoft before we close out for the night. We'll be right back. All right, y'all, welcome back to the Administrators Podcast. As we get ready to wrap this thing up, I wanted to just go over this Microsoft because I have been waiting, right? I picked up some shares. So for me, the way I do my investing is when I first see it. So what happened was I waited to see what was going to happen around here, right? And so we got right here, we picked back up. Boom. So what I did was I bought some shares. I buy 25%, right? Then as we get down to our second bounce spot, which was we rolled right here, I put my second 25% in. And then what I have been waiting on was this line right here, right? Because look at that line. We had some action right here on that line back in August. We had some more action on that line, August. Then we had some more action in September. We had more action later in September. And we had some more. And here we are again in October. What happened when we touched here? Once it became support, we got above. And then we shot up.
Hey, KT, we can't see your screen.
Oh, shit. Sorry about that, y'all. Hey, I was turned too. I was turned. Hey, hold on, wait a minute. Let me go back. I appreciate that, bro. It's real out in these streets. All right. So let me get myself back together. Okay. So what I was saying was, for me, I don't just go in all 100% of my position right then, right? So I find support points that it may take a little bounce. So remember what I said, we'll draw a line. For me, I'm looking, if it's going to go down to this 200 and it's going to fight between all these, I got to watch it and see what it's going to do. So once we got here, I looked and another, because this is 4-hour increments. So another candle came up here. I said, whoa, let me put in a little, because I seen it coming back up. I said, oh, we're getting some support. But then what happened? This girl came on back down. At 200 came and said, nope, not today. And so if I would have been buying an option, then I would have bought a put because we closed below this 4-hour. But for me, I've been buying regular shares. So I said, okay, well, this is just a time to put my first 25% in. Then I came down here to the second line. I said, okay, I got a little support here. Let me put my second 25% in. But oh boy, this is what I've been waiting on, this line right here. So once again, if you go back, you can look, we can go back even further. Look how important this line is. We go back here, April, we messing with that line. All right, we go back over here, May, we still fighting at that line. We go back over here in June, what happened? We fighting at that line again. Here we are in August, fighting at the line. September, fighting at the line. And lo and behold, here we are. Here we go again. And so we got a decision to make. What I'm going to do now, I want leap options, right? So I'm adding some more to the shares, but now I want leap options because I want to give it time to get back up here. Maybe a long time, right? So a leap option is 6 months. No, I'm sorry. It's a year mostly, Jose, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Sometimes 6 months to a year, but
okay, 6 months to a year. So let me go and just get back technical with it. We'll go 6 months to a year. For me, I'm not really gonna fight it 6 months out. I want at least 1 year. And so all right, let's look at it. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm gonna go in tomorrow. And I'm probably going to look at some leap options, right? Now, I may not buy more than one tomorrow because we still have potential to get back down to this line down here, right? And that's at 402. But we know it ain't that far further. We going down past that 102, right? Even if you look, we can go back over. We can go back over some more, right? Unless, oh, hell just drops out the bottom. And this was in January, right? So we're looking at what happened. But at the end of the day, we still riding the EMA. But I have been waiting to at least begin my leap position in Microsoft. And we are at this time. Do you know how much patience it took to wait on this thing, y'all? Oh, my God. But we are here. And so now, what we say, we act. So I watch it to see where it opens up tomorrow. If it opens and it's supported at this line and we move over to the side, I'm going in. I'm going in. And I'm going to put a leap on it. So my stop loss is going to be maybe a few $100s because I know it's going to be expensive. But I've been waiting on this one, y'all. All right. So just a little tidbit for you to let you know we are at a good place to grab some Microsoft. Once again, it's not financial advice, but I'm just trying to tell you how you make a move out in these streets because we know it ain't gonna be all bad. All right. Man, I think that's it for me. I'm gonna stop right there, man. Y'all check out that Microsoft, see what happened tomorrow. So anything else before we get out of here?
Yeah, man, I'm gonna add about that Microsoft, man. 27 RSI.
Oh, so that means it is oversold.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Yep, that furthermore confirms it. That it's gonna be time to start that position. And remember what I said, y'all. We not doing 100% off the top. I do 25, 25, and then I'll put that other 50. So right here, I'll put maybe one contract, maybe one or two, and then I'll see if it rejects. And if it falls and it keeps coming down, I'll add another one right here. And then that way I can average down, and then we'll see where it goes from there. Because I may get like maybe 3 to 5 contracts on this and just let them ride out for a little while because I got a few little monies in that account. So we're gonna see what's happening, man. But Jose just dropped it on his RSI is 27, which means Microsoft is way oversold. At the end of the day, it's still Microsoft, and so we know what kind of weight they hold out in these streets. But Meta is eating, so we'll just wait till our Microsoft turn. Anything else, man, before we get ready to close this thing out?
That's fantastic tonight, man.
Fantastic. That's it, man. All right, y'all. Well, I think we will get out of here for this week. I want to shout out to everybody that tuned in. We'll do a little bit more promo next time, man. We just be so excited, but we be working hard, y'all. That Schoolhouse keep you with the press. But we just want to say thank everybody for tuning in. Also, if you have not, go share, like, and subscribe to the channel. All the good stuff. check out that Microsoft, NVIDIA, and Apple, some of the plays that we put out there. Good blue chip stocks. So in the words of Warren Buffett, it's never a bad time to get into blue chips. Make sure you get your money. This is KT and
JoJo, baby.
Hey, we out of here,
This
y'all.
is Darnell with Broadcast Houston.
This is Dr. Tamara Beckford.
Hey, this is Candace.
This is London Underwood.
This is Kirsten Bass with Inner City Greens, and you're watching.
Y'all are now tuned in to
KTTV.
KTTV.
KT.